Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. So excited to be with you on another edition of Real Estate with Ryan Saturday, and I hope everybody's staying warm. It's a cold one out there. So excited to spend a little time with you on a weekend talking real estate, our favorite topic. Amazing time here in the last week. A lot going on in the real estate market, and as always, it's a busy, busy day. A lot preparing for this real estate show. You know, sometimes behind the scenes, you guys don't realize what goes on in the market and what it takes to do this show. And sometimes we have technical issues and camera issues and all those things. And we're experiencing one of those on a Saturday here. But nevertheless, we're here. And I hope you and your family are doing well. We've got a great show for you. And we're talking about the housing market. As always, we're going into 2025. Hard to believe. It's December, got the little Christmas decorations on the table, got the trees up, and even started doing a little shopping. So working on that with you. Before you know, it's a couple weeks out, and we've got a good show for you. Make your house the top thing on every buyer's wish list this season. So we're going to talk about that on the second half, how to make your home stand out in the market. Inventory is increasing, but there's less competitions for sellers right now. Buyers have opportunities. You know, a lot of people, it's cold, don't want to get out, put your home on the market. Who's looking? Well, we talked about that a couple weeks ago. Who's looking is serious buyers that are relocating to this area, serious buyers that have jobs that have to start, January and February. So those are ideal candidates for your home. We want to make sure your home stands out. And then we'll talk about the first half, talking about 2024 as we end that market. Are economists wondering, is the market going to crash? Where are we at? What do we see in 2025? We'll talk about that and what we see in the housing market on the first segment of Real Estate with Ryan. Let's talk about a little congrats before we get started. As always, some new listings, a lot of activity here in the housing market. And, of course, with our office, we've been busy. So we've got new listings on the market. 3637 Marshall Lane in Sevierville, investment cabin there. Make sure you check that property out. 103 Windsong Lane in Oak Ridge, beautiful home, going live this weekend. If not, I think it's going Monday. 4-bedroom home, first floor master, cul-de-sac lot, over an acre in Oak Ridge. So make sure you don't miss out on that property. And then we've got 292 Deer Meadows Circle in La Follette, brand new waterfront property that just hit the market, coming next week. Congrats to our pendings, 801 Christensen Road in Deer Lodge, and then 531 Gamble Gap Road in Tellico Plains. Congrats. Then 221 Allison Drive in Harriman, and congrats to our sellers, 112 Harper's Place in Knoxville, Farragut, and then 2742 River Island Boulevard in Kodak. Congrats. Luxury property, 9 days on the market. So excited about that, and congrats to our clients there. So hope everybody is having a great week. If you're like me and probably April and the whole family, it's Christmas time. It means we've got to get the shopping and everything going on, and it's ball games and a lot of different activities. But where does that lead to the housing market? How do we handle all this stress with the housing market, moving, buying, selling, and trying to do all your shopping? And then a lot of people now are asking, Ryan, now that the election is over, where do you see the housing market? Interest rates have moved just a little bit, but still are closer to 7%. A lot of people are wondering, and experts, are the inventories rising in the housing market here in the Knoxville surrounding area? We're over 6,000 homes in the market, but still have a lack of supply as a whole. Builders are still number one competition in the housing market that we're seeing today. So if you have a resale in the market, no matter whether you're in West Knoxville, even Oak Ridge, one we listed, we have some competition over at the Preserve and the Summit, different properties like that do have new construction competition. And in Sevierville, a lot of those properties out there that are now newer cabins, and they're facing fierce competition for the resale cabins. So we're seeing new construction as the market goes on as a big competing factor. As a rule, if you're buying a new home or a resale, typically new construction is always going to set the bar. It's going to set the top of the marketplace, depending on the features, right? Depending on the lot size. So there's a lot of variables there on that. So keep an eye on new construction in the housing market, and how is that affecting buyers? Some people now, I was listening to a great economist, and there was a podcast we're talking about something to think about as we're going forward into 2025 is with inflation so high, cost of prices, labor, builders across the region, trying to be more affordable and have affordable housing. Where does that leave consumers? And where does that leave consumers in the shopping or consumer shopping? And, what you're looking at is what we're seeing, some of the tract builders or things like that I thought is something for you buyers to kind of look at and thinking about searching for your forever home is now we getting lesser quality construction than we had before, right? I thought that was a very good topic. We're seeing the tract homes, and you've seen all the subdivisions out there, and they're ramping them up, they're putting them up, but are they same quality? Are they shorting on some of the construction, trim, molding, finishes, versus some of the homes that we built with solid construction? That beautiful crown molding. We had some case molding on a property yesterday that we were walking through in South Knoxville. It's over on the water. And just intricate detail that you don't find on some of the newer, even new construction. And I'm sure you guys follow social media. And if you're like me and most people, we've seen those $1 million properties online. And then you look at some of the construction of the framework, and it's not the best. It's not the best. So as buyers proceed forward at the end of 2024, going to 2025, you have a lot of selections. And just because it's new construction doesn't mean it's your best purchase. So those are things that I think looking forward in the housing market that buyers are going to be looking at. But, moving forward, interest rates are a little bit higher. Hopefully we get some adjustment in the housing market. One of the biggest things that we're seeing across the board, right? And I think even the housing market, the car market, and other industries that are similar, large ticket items, what we're facing was the fear of uncertainty, right? The fear of uncertainty. And this kind of leads into the market is the market going to crash, Ryan, or what's going on? Should we wait? But I think one of the biggest factors that we felt was, the presidential election. Big presidential elections are always like this, especially if they're contentious, if there's a lot of other issues on the table, and it has buyers to have concern. Listen, in the housing market, if there's concern, if there's fear, if there's pullback, you're going to see it. Buyers are not going to come out. And especially when prices really have not adjusted across the U.S. where they need to be. We are seeing some movement in pricing, but not to the level that brings a lot of new buyers back at. A lot of the experts are overwhelmingly saying that the housing market is not going to crash anytime soon. The last housing crash caused today's lack of supply, and that is what's keeping homes from falling, going back to the old Great Recession. Mortgage rates, however, is expected to go down this coming year, which will give an opportunity to make homeownership more affordable. But I don't think anybody really, really knows what the market will do. Great client, like I said, new property we've got coming up on the water, first of the year right after Christmas. And I said, I've stopped predicting the housing market because nobody really has an exact answer. If you listen too much into the marketplace, you'll say, well, if this happens, they're going to do this. And, you really just can't, you got to watch too much news, right? That's why we try to stay non-political and really focus on the market. I really just urge everybody that if you're thinking about buying or selling this year, now more than ever, you need a great agent in your corner. You need somebody that's working for you, that knows the market, and the market is kind of changing on a dime. As you can see, there's a lot of new regulations, things changing, buyers dynamic, maybe more inventory coming on the market. And so all those things make it challenging. You got to have great team, you got to have great teamwork to make that work. So we're always here for you. Just know that if we could do anything for you, if we could help you with anything at all, our team is always here to help you. But we know that the prices have been high for some time. And for home buyers, Fannie Mae is talking about the National Housing Survey that 20% of consumers said that they don't think it's a good time to buy. Because that kind of leads back into my conversation with the election. Everybody has put things on pause. I don't care what sides you're on or what's going on. Hopefully, we get back to a market that is moving where people are not worrying about what's going to happen and not, and we get back to normal everyday life. The housing market is not going to crash in 2025, but there is some challenges. Expect some challenges. Obviously, going into the first quarter, inflation is key. Interest rates is key. Affordability is there. So I don't think it's going to be an overnight fix. Fannie Mae has seen home prices increases 5.8% in 2024, and they were seeing 3.6% in 2025. So we're coming up on the second half Real Estate with Ryan. We've got so much more on this topic and a couple more things. Stay with us here. We'll be right back.
Success always comes down to the details. It takes repetition, hard work, and a defined strategy to be elite. Real estate is no different. It takes preparation and a solid game plan to achieve the best results. On the field, I can cover some real estate. Off the field, look to Ryan Coleman and the team at Hometown Realty. They're Tennessee's agent.
Thanks, bro. Go Big Orange.
Hometown Realty is East Tennessee's #1 real estate group and a proud sponsor of the Vols.
I'm Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The real estate market's changing every day. You need to know your home's value in today's market. Text your home address to 290-2290 for an instant, no-obligation home evaluation. That's 865-290-2290. And remember, when you're ready to sell, we have a guaranteed sale program to get you in your next home stress-free. Trust your hometown experts. We've helped thousands of people just like you. All right, we're back at it, second half Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for staying tuned. And if you're tuning in the first time, thank you. My name is Ryan Coleman, and we do this little show, Real Estate with Ryan, every Saturday. We try to have a little fun. Today, we're just trying to stay warm and keep this show on track. So it's one of those days. Hey, it's the weekend. Let's see. Before we get going on the rest of the second part of the show, I got some, do my 60-second vol update. Let's do that with the big drum roll, please. All right, Vol update. Lady Vols in action the other night against Florida State Seminoles. Oh, my goodness, what an amazing game. We were up 20, and it got close in the end, but the Lady Vols were able to pull that off with a big win. Of course, our men, me and Kinsley had a chance to go to the game the other day to see Syracuse, and what an amazing game there. We put it on them 96-70. Had a chance to see Chaz Lanier and the team. They look good. Good opportunity that our men are going to be ranked #1 basketball next week. And our football program looks like possibly playing Ohio State. We'll see. And we could have our men and women #1 in the country. That could happen, right? Wouldn't that be an exciting thing? So it's a great time to be a Vol. We have SEC Championship this weekend. We'll know more about the college football playoffs. Make sure you're following our channels. We're giving away tickets to ladies and our men home games, all courtesy of Hometown Realty. All you got to do is like, share, and follow, and we'll send you. That is our 60-second Vol update. Hometown Realty, proud sponsor of the Vols. Go Big Orange. So we have fun. I see everybody gets to go to the game, and we see some pictures there. I really appreciate you guys subscribing and sending it. Doesn't cost anything. We're just glad to send you something that we like to do, and our team has fun. And thank you so much for all the pictures and tagging us back on social media. It means the world, and glad you're enjoying it. So talking about the real estate market, getting back on that, and going into the housing market, what people are forecasting. And I was talking about in the first segment what Fannie Mae was seeing. Okay, Fannie Mae sees home prices increasing 5.8% this year. All right, 3.6 to be exact, in 2025. Okay, so the 4.6 next year, ending down about a percent. Okay, than what they expected. So not a big difference there. The Mortgage Banker Association forecasts that home prices will have gone up by 3.8% by the end of the year, and 1.5% by the end of 2025. In regards to 2026, the Mortgage Bankers Association thinks prices could rise another 1.5. Now, that's all speculation, but they weren't too far off on this year. So I thought that was a good thing. Indicators to watch, obviously going to watch the economy, signs of weakening, job stability reports, things like that. That's important. let's see, the Federal Reserve's officials predicted that the unemployment rate could peak at 4.4% in 24 and easing down to 4.2% in 2025. Understanding the market and the dynamics, there's a lot to it. And really what it comes down to, one of the guys over at the National Association of Realtors just says that inventory is the number one key. The U.S. has between 2.3 million and 6.5 million units short of a healthy housing supply. So that's kind of reassuring. And I think a lot of that kind of goes back to that COVID area or pre-COVID area, but 2008, 2013, 14, where a lot of builders and individuals just got out of the market. So even if something happened that caused home buyers to drop out of the market, the demand likely couldn't stop or drop low enough for home prices to push down significantly. What is the current state of the housing market and where we're seeing it? Well, I think the housing market here in East Tennessee is one of the biggest things is, things are sitting on the market longer than expected. I think some of that could be changing as we go to 2025, but really the jury's out. Nobody really knows. I think that the adjustment in the interest rate may be marginal at best. That may have an impact on the market. But I think what most people see is that we're getting back to normal life. The election's over. We're moving forward. And, if we're planning on moving, those plans are not put on hold. We're moving forward. And we got the ability to refinance if those rates ever do come down. We talked about a lot of things, the demand from first-time millennial buyers. And according to the National Association of Realtors, 32% of home buyers who are buying this year are doing that for the first time. And millennials, many who have never owned a home before, have finally surpassed baby boomers in the largest demographic of home buyers, making up 38%. So I thought that was interesting. And another thing to think about, more inventory coming on the market, is that we have something called the phenomenon of the silver tsunami. It's the first time I've heard of that we have a lot of seniors that are coming up where they have larger homes. They have to put those on the market. They're moving into condos, maybe assisted living. Maybe they're relocating closer to family. And so there may be a wave of a larger amount of properties coming on the market. Perfect example. Great property, an appointment I went on the other day. It's in South Knoxville. Great lady. Unfortunately, just lost her husband a couple of years ago, and it's just 6,000 square feet. So I don't need all this house. I mean, just what I'm going to do with it. So we see a lot of that, right? Now, regardless of the interest rates and things going on in the market, I mean, we just don't need that big a house. It's just, there's a time and season for it, right? And we know home price trends, according to the National Association of Realtors, started the year at $385,000 average, and now we're about $413,000. So what you're seeing is, as much as we like to time the market, one of the most important things if you're buying or selling is getting in the market, especially a lot of the millennials that weren't in the market. Now they're getting into the housing market. You can never predict the exact time. Obviously, you're watching the news to try to pick the right time to buy a house and sell a house. But it's never, I always tell buyers and sellers, if you're in the market and you have a house to sell and then you're buying something, it's usually never a seller's market or a buyer's market at the same time, right? You're going to win on one of the two of the fronts, but normally it's never both, right? It's economically impossible. And so usually it's one or the other. And so, just really focus on, and in 2025, as we approach the new year, I would really say, hey, it's goal time, right? It's goals. What are your goals for 25? Or are you planning on building? Are you maybe have another child, need more space? Is that an opportunity? We have opportunities now, I think, for buyers that we haven't seen in a while. Mortgage rates, the housing market, we're about 6.5% now, down just a little bit, a 30-year average. But, we may see, one of my clients will say, well, do we think we'll see 2 or 3%? I don't think we'll see 2 or 3% in a while. But, we got to understand, I was talking to my seller yesterday that, and remember, 6% interest rate is a really good rate. I think my first house I bought was 6.125, and that was something to be excited about. But now we've come from a generation of 2 and 3% interest rates. Those are just one of those things that are there, and then we may never see it again. So, if the rates get between 5 and 6%, that's a really healthy market to buy and sell real estate, okay? Low demand causes a housing market crash. We don't foresee anything like that happening. Inventory is up a little bit. Even if a lot of this inventory, the rates go down, people are moving forward for a combination of reasons. I don't see that dramatic price change at all. Can an increase in the housing market affect the supply and ultimately the price, Ryan? I mean, some of those are good questions, and coming into that is, some of the inventory that we're seeing in the Sevierville-Gatlinburg market, we're seeing an uptick. I did some numbers the other day, and we were looking for a cabin and doing some numbers for a seller that was selling and go through those numbers, and we had 123 active competitions, meaning that there's 113 properties to select from. And in those pendings, it was 10 to 15 that were actually under contract. So what does that tell you? 10 or 15% of the market selling at a given time, and that's a combination of reasons there. So we do see that some, but as any market, that may be a snapshot of where we're at right now. So kind of going into the market and kind of making the holiday season, talking about your house to be ready for the market. I think the most important thing kind of going into that is know that buyers in today's time frame are looking during the holidays are the most serious type of buyer. Know that you've got an inventory edge where other properties are maybe not even on the market. Okay, less competition. I told Greg Seller the other day, January and February, some of our larger properties, homes sold, believe it or not, we're in spring and summer. Because why? There's less competition. You can control your showings. You don't just have to let anybody come at certain times. Buyers are more accommodating. And holiday decor can make your property shine. That's what we've got, Real Estate with Ryan. Thank you for staying with us. And if you need us, we're always just a phone call away. Hope to see you back next weekend. Stay warm. Have a good one.